Moti.
What's the role of imagination in our world? Because we can't attain it, so you can't really define it, and sometimes you give us kind of these pictures, that we're all in perfection, we're all in adhesion. Do we need to imagine these things?
Yes. First of all, of course, if we have the force of imagination, it was given to us so we would use it correctly. So we have to use it. Now, this force of imagination it depends how we imagine it. It helps us read what Kabbalists say. Without the force of imagination, I wouldn't be able to imagine anything that's written here. I wouldn't understand anything. Look what he's saying. The necessity and unfolding of the expansion of the wisdom. What is he talking about? What unfolding? What wisdom? In what world? In what form? From below up? From above down? I understand. We say to a small child or to a cat, according to how much a person is complex inside of himself, refined, and feels this complexity, to that extent he could possess imagination. That's how we develop.
You said Rabashi described the corrections on his face.
Yeah, all 13 corrections of Dikna he showed on his face. Too bad we didn't have video to show.
So we need to imagine the Partsufim on the upper worlds. How different is it than the Partsufim of this world?
What are you talking about? What do you mean?
No, in terms of details, we talk about Dikna, this and that.
You know what? I'll take a picture of you, and I put it into a computer, and this computer processes this form, this picture, in order to send to someone. Along the way, when he sends it, does he send a picture? No. He sends numbers.
Information.
Yeah, information in some form. So where is your partsuf, your face? Yes, no. Your picture, your likeness, no. Rather, it's transferred in a different language.
So do you have a tip how we can develop our imagination to try and imagine like a corrected state? Like these definitions we have, like the Assembly of Israel and things like that.
We can't imagine the correct state because we're completely not in that imagination. But somehow, because why are we in this world? We can make certain efforts, like a little child that builds a house from blocks.
And these efforts considered exertion?
Of course. Without it, you can't reach the true work. We're coming to it. Just do what you need to do.
When you repeat that we need to stabilize everything as a system, what does that mean? Because I can start spreading with my imagination to things that I might not know about.
Why? The system is completely built in your imagination. You imagine it. You want to imagine it as a drawing, as a form, a picture of some sort. Doesn't matter. You must have it.
And what's the correct depiction, the correct image of this system? What holds the system?
The important thing is to maintain the relationships between the different parts of the picture. Let's say today we had a picture of Adam HaRishon before the shattering. We imagined it as all the parts. They're not really parts, yet they were connected to such an extent, it was one whole body. But he wasn't whole, but simply because the wholeness of the Creator existed there, and that's what connected all the parts. No one could distinguish any part from anything. Meaning there was no creature. Everything was swallowed, immersed in the form of the unity of the Creator. The Creator doesn't want it. He wants the creatures to attain this unity. That's why he shatters this picture. All the parts disperse. They spread out in all directions according to the force of connection that they had, which they didn't even think about. Suddenly have the force of separation that forces them to grow apart, to move apart. So what exists between them? Pharaoh. Who is the Pharaoh? Anti-creator. Now we have to come to know that this is anti and it is opposite from the correct form, and it's not the desirable form because I'm now with Pharaoh. And Pharaoh for me now is the good Pharaoh. 7 years of satiation. What are you talking about? It's my father, it's my dad. And slowly, slowly, as I grow, I see that he becomes evil to such an extent that even if when I grew up in his household. I sat on his lap. I wore his crown as a child. Suddenly, I hate him. I want to erase him. How can that thing be? Look what's happening to me. From this picture of separation, I come to a state where I hate him. And I want only connection. This is work. We need to imagine it systemically as well.